Hey guys, Magnetico here, and welcome to my series of videos where we take video game systems, we clean them up, repair them if need be, and sometimes we mod them. And today we're going to be taking a look back at my childhood Game Boy Color that we repaired in the last video. Things were looking hopeless, but we were able to scrub off all the battery acid that had built up over the years. We turned it into a working system that displays the images correctly. It has audio, which was giving us a little bit of issues, and it reads the cartridges. So I am super pumped to continue the project on this, and what we're going to be doing in this particular video is we're going to be customizing this Game Boy Color, which means we're going to add an IPS screen so we can go ahead and play this game in the dark. We're also going to add our own shells, and we're going to add all kinds of different colored buttons, which are all available in the retro game repair shop, and I'll go ahead and link that in the description below so you guys can hop in there and customize your Game Boy Color in any way that you want. I'm super excited to start this process. I'm actually really excited to go ahead and bust out the soldering gun because I haven't used it in quite a minute. So this should be a pretty easy project. It's not difficult at all. In fact, I would call this a very good introductory. If you're ever planning on soldering anything, this would be a good project to start on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. Guys, thank you so much for joining me again. If this is your kind of thing where we clean up systems, repair them if need be, and sometimes we mod them, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified every time I post a video. Let's get started. The tools you're going to need are going to be a tool set, and I'll go ahead and link all these items in the description below. You're going to need the Game Boy Color, soldering iron, actual solder. You're going to need some tweezers to work with the little wires. You're going to need some no clean flux, but regular flux works just as fine. You're going to need some Kapton tape, the items that we got from the retro game repair shop, the color shell case of your choice, and whatever buttons and colors you guys want to customize your Game Boy Color with, isopropyl alcohol, Q-tips, and a toothbrush. So we're going to take a quick look at all the contents that come inside of this retro game repair shop box here. And it's pretty cool. It's kind of shaped like a Game Boy game, but it looks at the very top here, there is the screen we're going to be working with in some bubble wrap. Some brand new screws for the Game Boy Color and the RF reader. And some pre-cut wires so we don't have to use any of our own, even though I still might do that. And then some kind of sticker shield for the screen. Some warnings and a retro game repair shop sticker. I like this box a lot, actually. I think I might keep it. So let's start with our Game Boy Color, and we're gonna go ahead and flip it over. We're gonna go ahead and disassemble it. So we're gonna take off the battery cover here. And remember, there are 6 screws that we have to take off. I'm gonna speed through it in this video, but if you guys need a tutorial on how to disassemble, clean up, and reassemble a Game Boy Color, I do have a video on that as well. So make sure you check that out. Removing the 6 screws from the back, it'll allow us to remove the back shell of the Game Boy Color. So let's go ahead and put this aside. And we're going to take off these 3 Phillips screws that hold the motherboard in place. That one was being a little bit stubborn. I couldn't take it out, but we're going to go ahead and flip this over. And the last thing holding the motherboard to the shell is going to be this ribbon. So let's go ahead and disconnect these 2 little black latches here, and it should allow us to free the motherboard. All right, so I'm gonna flip this over so I can drop that screw. It looks like this shell is done for pretty much. It's pretty old, so understandably, but we have the motherboard. This is the only item we're gonna need, so let's go ahead and take this and move it out of the way. Next, we're gonna start with the back of the screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this sticker that came with our box, and what it is that it protects the screen from receiving any shorts. You can also use Kapton tape. I actually recommend that more because, as you can see, I will run into a little bit of trouble. I tried to be so careful with this sticker. I even used a pair of tweezers so I can try to put it on as carefully as possible. But I'm going to leave this in the video so you guys can see that I failed miserably. It just attached itself, like almost like magnetic. So after struggling with it, I was a lot more careful. I used my hand, and I did one corner, then the other corner, and then just flatten out the rest of the sticker. And this is the end product. Hopefully the screen still works, but we're gonna go ahead and remove these 2 adhesive stickers here. One on this side, put that out of the way, and then we're gonna take off the other side as well. So the adhesive is pretty strong. Be sure to line everything up once you put it into the shell. I'll show you guys exactly how to do it. It's not very hard. I think the hardest part of the whole process was that darn sticker. There's going to be a plastic cover on the screen as well. We're going to put it back on so we can avoid any scratching, but for now, since we're putting it into the shell, we don't want the shell to get any of that plastic caught into it. So here is our cool shell. Nice little see-through gray. And the first thing I'm going to do before I flatten it out is I want to make sure that there's a ribbon that sticks out. So I don't want that ribbon being caught anywhere in that shell. So it looks like it's free. Now I can go ahead and drop the rest of the screen. And I'm going to spend some time flattening it out gently. I don't want to break the screen, but I want to make sure that adhesive is connecting to the plastic of the shell. So we're going to take that plastic cover that we took off originally and we're going to put it back onto the screen. We are going to be working with this Game Boy Color screen down most of the time, and I don't want it to get scratched. We're going to take the main ribbon and we're going to go ahead and pre-tin the start and select button. As you can see, I added some Kapton tape at a very specific spot on this ribbon. So if you want to go ahead and add it now, it is going to help you in the long run. Here's a start and select. So that's done for now. Now we're going to take the shell and we're going to start adding some buttons to it. So this is the membrane for the start button. I'm going to go ahead and do some red. Right now I'm just messing around with colors. This isn't going to be like the final product. I'm just kind of messing around, seeing what I liked. Originally I wanted to do like a Nintendo 64 motif where like the A button was green and the B button was blue, or the other way around. I don't remember. But that's kind of what I was going for. So until the end of the video, that is the motif I am following. I added the A and B button, the D-pad, the start select membrane. Now we're going to add the rest of the membranes to this as well. You guys can literally customize this Game Boy Color in any way that you want color wise. There's so many options on the Retro Game Repair Shop. So I recommend it. I think it's awesome. You guys can do literally anything. We're going to take the ribbon that we were working on previously. We're going to go ahead and connect it to the screen. This little connector is a little bit difficult to work with. Be patient with it. Don't press super hard. Don't smash it into the ribbon. Take your time with it. And eventually it will connect the way it's supposed to. You'll know. You'll feel it. Looks like I got it right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick the Kapton tape to the back of the screen. Next, we're going to take the motherboard. And we're going to take the ribbon and connect it into the motherboard, as you can see here. Make sure it's all the way in, and once it's all the way in, make sure you press down on these latches so it's nice and secure. I am taking my time with this one. I was having a little bit of issues with the right one there. It was kind of hard to press down, but you know, eventually I ended up getting it. And once you're done with it, you're good to go. We're going to go ahead and flip the motherboard over. And I told you guys earlier that the front of the screen is going to be facing down for most of this mod. So it's good to add that plastic protector. But this is the spot we're going to be working with the most. We are going to pre-tin two particular spots on this motherboard. And I'll go ahead and put a diagram on the screen because I know you guys can't really tell which ones that they are. And if you guys are following along or using this as a tutorial, then I'm going to try to help you guys out as much as possible. But this is the first spot here. I am using a very fine tip soldering point as well. So after you add a little bit of solder and it connects, you can actually add a little bit more. As you can see, I'm adding a little bit more to the one on the top, just so I have enough room to work with when it comes to the wire. And I'm going to add just a little bit more to the other side as well. We're going to take one of the wires and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the left pre-tin side, and that is for the start button. So on the ribbon, we already have start and select pre-tinned. So I'm going to connect this wire to the start. We're going to do the same with the other wire as well. We're going to hook this one up to the select part of the ribbon. I use the tweezers because these wires are so small, but it's not too bad to work with. I'm going to use a Kapton tape to go ahead and route the wires the way I need it to make everything look nice and neat. And I'm going to flip the motherboard over. Make sure that speaker stays at the bottom so it hooks up with the shell. And there's this left pad that is on the ribbon that we have to free up. We will mess with that later. It does go to the top of the Game Boy Color shell. We just want to make sure it's freed up and not caught on anything. Here I'm making sure that all the membranes are in place. There's nothing worse than starting a game and you find out one of the buttons doesn't work because the membrane moved around while you were putting everything together. So make sure those stay in place. Once everything is in place, you can go ahead and put the Phillips screws back together. It is recommended that you only do the left and the right ones. Actually, in fact, leave out the middle one completely. Just leave it out. For this particular purpose of this video, I am going to put it back in just so everything stays in place. And before I put the back shell back on, I will remove it. Right now, I just want everything to stay in place because we are going to be moving the system around just a little bit, and those membranes are the absolute worst to work with. On the power switch, there is a little area labeled C, and I'm going to add a little bit more solder to it because we are going to attach a wire to it. This is the last of the wires that came with the box from the retro game repair shop. We're going to go ahead and attach this wire up here. And on the ribbon, there is one more area that we have to pre-tin, and that is the power. So we're going to go ahead and pre-tin this. And lastly, we're just going to attach the wire to it, and we should be done with all the wiring required for this mod. I'm going to go ahead and take out that middle screw now that we're just going to go ahead and add the back shell to this. As you can see on the processor, I did add some Kapton tape. That way the wire that I just added stays in place. So we're going to go ahead and remove this. We're going to go ahead and flip this around next, and we're going to go ahead and add the cover for the IR sender and receiver. I called this an RF reader earlier in the video, and I do apologize for that. That is not at all what it's called. That technology is newer than the IR receiver, but this is what it is. It's just a cover for it. There is one that came with the box, or you can use the original one that came with the system. I opted to use the one that came in the box just because it's newer. So next, we're going to work with the pad that we made sure that was freed up earlier. I'm going to take a piece of Kapton tape and I'm going to attach it to the pad. Make sure the adhesive side is facing towards the shell, the top of the shell, I should say, and very gently with tweezers or any other item that you can use, attach it to the top of the Game Boy Color. This pad is very useful. It lets you add scan lines to your games. It lets you change the brightness. It lets you change the color of the Game Boy logo as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add the power button next. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take this black one out and use this red one that I got in my packaging instead. This actually looks a lot cooler. So we're just going to mess with it, have fun with it. And next up, we're going to attach the back shell of the system. It looks so clean. You probably noticed, but on the battery area, as you can see, we would have left that Phillips screw there. It would have hit the plastic. So again, it's recommended that you remove that Phillips screw. We're going to add all the 6 screws that came with the system. These are all the new ones that came with the box as well. I made sure that I used the brand new ones. And lastly, we're going to attach the battery cover. Finally, we can remove this plastic cover that was protecting our screen. And as you can see, this is pretty cool. I don't like that the Kapton tape is showing and the wires, so I will have to clean that up later. But for now, we're just testing, making sure that everything works the way it's supposed to. So we're going to go ahead and add some AA batteries to the Game Boy Color. I do love the smoky color of this Game Boy shell. I think it looks really cool. I think I might change up the buttons a little bit, but overall, I think this is probably one of the coolest shells I think I've owned for the Game Boy Color. So Pokemon Silver will be our test game for this screen. And let's go ahead and pop this in. Make sure we get power. It looks like we get power. It looks like the backlight is working. I don't see any issues. We are getting sound as well. And yeah, this looks awesome. It looks so good. Heck yeah. Here we're going to take a quick look at the settings for this LCD display. You can change the brightness once you hold down the top sensor for about 2 seconds. You can change the display and the scan lines. Most of them are vertical, but I like keeping the number 1 because that is the most similar to the original Game Boy, but you can have no scan lines at all. And one of the coolest features is you can also change the color of the Game Boy Color logo, and you have about 25 options of different colors, so that way you can customize, again, this little system in any way that you want, which I think it's pretty awesome. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the Game Boy Color can now be played in the dark, and better yet, it is customized in whatever way, shape, or fashion that you guys wanted it to. I do have memories of sitting during the night in the back of my parents' vehicle as they drove around, and I was playing my Game Boy Color, and I was not able to see anything. I would have to use any source of light, even street lights, as I was passing and holding it up to my face. Gone are those days. As much as I love those nostalgic memories, it's not something we have to worry about anymore. So this Game Boy Color is finally complete. Now, I do have a confession. I did go back inside of the Game Boy and ended up cleaning up all the wires, because if you guys watched through the video, there were some wires that were showing, and some Capcom tape was also showing as well. So I made sure I cleaned that up. But while I was in there, I also changed some of the buttons, some of the colors, just to see what would fit, because I wanted to go for that N64 motif, but at the end of the day, it's not what I really wanted, or not something that I enjoyed once it was all put together. So I picked something that was really me, which was red and black, and after putting it together, I still was not satisfied. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what it was. So I kind of messed around. I kind of thought about it for a bit, and you guys are going to judge me for this, but the colors I ended up going with is just the straight up atomic purple again, which is the color of the original Game Boy that I ended up fixing. So the shell's new, everything about this is new except the motherboard, but this is the one that hits. This is the one that this is like the one that's made me the happiest so far, and I think it's just because this is what the color of my childhood Game Boy Color was, and maybe in the future I'll get another motherboard for a Game Boy Color and make it some different color, but for now this is going to be my main one. I love it. I'm super happy with this. And again, you guys have any choice of colors or combinations that you guys want, this is the one I'm sticking with. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If this is something you enjoyed, where we go ahead and clean up systems, repair them if need be, and sometimes we mod them, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified every time I post a video. In the last video for the Game Boy Color, we're going to just be adding some accessories. I'll show you guys some of the stuff that I bought just to make this a complete system. So stay tuned for some more. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.